Hey everybody, my name is Doug Fine and I'm the principal at Defined Performance Solutions. And today I have Jeff Foley here with me, who is a retired Army Brigadier General. So I'm going to have to be squared away today. And I'm going to have to, you can take the man out of the military, but you can't take the military out of the man. And I served many years ago. So Jeff, you're going to get a lot of deference from me today, but I might challenge you a little bit too. How are you?
I'm doing great, Doug. Glad to be here. Thanks for the invitation to participate today.
Oh, thank you very much for your time, sir. See, there you go, sir. I can't help myself. I'm going to start off, Jeff, if you don't mind, just letting our viewers and our listeners know a little bit about you with your bio. Is that okay?
Sure.
All right. So Jeff W. Foley hails from Cincinnati, Ohio. He is a graduate of West Point and served 32 years in the United States Army, earning the rank of Brigadier General. He retired in 2010. Today, he is a leadership coach, speaker, and author. He works with executives and business leaders who want to lead with impact and inspire their teams to be all they can be. As a leadership coach, Jeff helps successful leaders get even better by achieving positive, lasting change in behavior for themselves and the people they lead. As a speaker, he conducts presentations to companies and professional organizations around the country on how to build winning teams with predictable results. Jeff's latest book is titled Brave Business Leadership: Grow Competent, Confident Leaders and Get Great Results. As a result of his work, his clients often share that after working with him, they have more focus on what matters, more confidence in their leadership role, and they have more influence with the people they lead. On a personal note, Jeff is a recovering college baseball center fielder and a lifetime Cincinnati baseball fan, Cincinnati Reds. So again, Jeff, thank you so much for coming with me. And we're going to start off with a rapid fire round of questions about your business and about who you like to work with and what you do for and problems you solve. Does that sound good?
That sounds great.
All right, sir. So the first question is, Jeff, who do you work best with and who is your ideal client?
I work with successful leaders who want to change. I have learned long ago that if they aren't committed to listening and executing change in their personal or professional lives, they're not a candidate for me and they won't work. My will not work.
All right. Have you ever fired anybody as a client because they weren't willing to change or they didn't understand that up front?
No, I have not. But I will tell you the interview process is comprehensive and engaging. We spend multiple hours on multiple occasions for me to explain the process to make sure they understand what the commitment is.
Wonderful.
These are typically year-long commitments.
Oh, year-long commitments with you.
Right.
Super.
This is not a 90-day or 6-month effort, principally a year.
Okay.
And so it is a commitment.
Wonderful. Jeff, what's the problem or problems in general that you help them solve?
The most significant challenge that leaders have is a failure to hold their people accountable. That is the single biggest challenge that occurs from executives all the way down to first-time supervisors. And it's proven by research. Dr. Rob Kaiser, a nationally known researcher, has indicated in his latest findings, 2 of 3 executives fail to hold their people accountable. Guess what happens when executives don't hold their executive team accountable? You know, lead by example is one of the most profound ways to help influence others. And if the senior leadership's not doing it, it's going to roll downhill that others aren't going to do it. And
you're never going to get what you're looking for. You're never going to meet your objectives if leaders aren't holding their people accountable to what they're supposed to be doing. That's right. So it will be a failing organization eventually. Is that right? That's true. Now, to some degree it is, but it's interesting because so many companies are successful. Right. They are. And they don't hold their people accountable and they let things happen, but their bottom line, their balance sheet shows a positive
green number at the end of the year, or a black number, not red. And therefore they believe everything is okay. But the real deal is they're not reaching the potential that they could be. So while they might be successful, they're nowhere near reaching the potential for the future. And they're not developing their people to help sustain that success for the long term. And it's not an easy thing to think about. It's not an easy thing to measure, because so many leaders are focused on today.
Right.
The end of the month spreadsheet that shows profit or not.
Oh boy. Oh boy. You're saying some really, really profound things that business leaders kind of need to hear. They know it, but they're not hearing it from another successful leader. So great. What are the common mistakes that your clients or people that want to work with you, what are the common mistakes that they make when they're trying to solve that idea of holding people accountable?
Well, they fail to engage. They fail to engage with their people, and I'm talking about one-on-one coaching. It is such a profound experience that I learned in my 32 years in the Army, of how good it was when I had it and how bad it was when I didn't have it. Either I didn't receive it or I didn't give it. Let me give you an example. A newly promoted person is promoted into a management position for the first time. She now is responsible for leading people, not just performing the technical skills that the job requires. Over a period of 6 months or so, the results are proving that she is failing. Her people are not performing. Suspenses are being missed. Other directors, other peers are complaining because they have to pick up the slack. Ultimately, good people are leaving the organization. What happened in that scenario? And I see it so often. First of all, the leader failed to give clear goals that are agreed upon with them and their direct reports, that young new professional. They failed to identify the goals. They failed to diagnose the individual's competence and their ability to achieve those goals on their own, and their commitment. Do they care? And ultimately, with failing that diagnosis, they failed to put in a strategy to help ensure their success. And that strategy is based on one-on-one coaching. People are so reluctant to do it, to have it, to schedule it. They claim that there's no time to do it. We make assumptions that people know how to be successful. They don't. And most people are afraid to ask for help.
Yeah.
So that is where leaders fail. They fail to implement a disciplined approach to coaching one-on-one, either bi-weekly, monthly, or quarterly, a minimum of quarterly. They fail to do that. And then things happen. Not good things happen after 6 months, 12 months, and the organization fails to achieve its potential.
You know, Jeff, when you see me smiling, when you're answering my questions, it's just that you are in the same wavelength that I'm on, and a lot of leadership development people are on. That one-on-one coaching is it now, and it's not going to go away. It has to happen, and we're just pushing that now and expecting leaders to do that. And boy, do we have some opportunity to help young leaders and established leaders to figure out how to do that with their people. One-on-one coaching is it. One-on-ones plus coaching. It's going to make all the difference in a business. And I'm so glad to hear that you were doing it in the Army. Sometimes you weren't, but you wanted your people to do it. So it's so important. And what an opportunity we have to keep that top of mind for the people that we work with. Thank you for that. One-on-ones.
Let me interject something.
Please.
Doug, it's interesting. A Deloitte survey in 2016 talked about the millennials. They do a millennial assessment every year around the world.
Yeah.
And so many people believe that the younger generation doesn't want to be touched and connected with. They want to do everything by phone or they just want to be left alone. And the Deloitte survey said, absolutely not. They want to be engaged. They claim that millennials, from their research, want to stay in an organization where, one, their leadership skills are developed, two, they are held accountable. we're performing and achieving the standard on what success looks like. So it fits the millennials.
Yeah, yeah. I would also say that millennials have come, they were brought up being close to their parents. You know, not that they were friends with their parents, but their parents, they had a connection with their parents like maybe you and I didn't, because that's just the generation they are. And I think that one-on-one coaching and getting side by side, face to face, is something that they really are have come to learn in their life how important it is, because their parents are emotionally available to them and giving them feedback all the time. And if they go to a job and they're not getting that, that's really not going to help them in the career that they've chosen. So yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So let's go to number 4. What's something that the audience today can implement today that would make a difference this afternoon?
Everything that I just shared with you. If you are a supervisor of people, get it on your calendar now. All of your direct reports, block time for scheduling one-on-one conversations with them. And if you are not a supervisor, or if you have everybody has a boss. The same holds true for you as a direct report to someone else. If you have not had your one-on-ones where you can go to them and say, boss, I need this from you. I need more guidance. I need to understand what my goals are. I need some resources. I can't do this by myself, but I want to schedule time with you to talk about what I need to be successful. The same thing holds true for whether you are a boss or a direct report. Go get on the calendar. And it's interesting, a story out in California where one of the most successul franchise owners, he owned 3 Der Wiener Schnitzel franchises in California.
I remember those.
They're still out there. They haven't made it across the Mississippi, I don't think.
They were like buildings that looked like a kind of a chalet.
Yes.
They sell hot dogs.
That's their hot dogs, and they got ice cream now. I had some ice cream too. But the manager of that had an unbelievable turnover rate. It was like 16% over the course of 2 years. And the question was, how did he do that? Because the turnover rates for the fast food industry is like 150% a year. And he goes, I had 15-minute interviews, 15-minute meetings with my people, my one-on-ones. And it was every 2 weeks, all my direct reports. I put it on the calendar. The agenda was theirs. I simply asked one question: what's on your mind?
Wow. What's on your mind?
It doesn't have to be a long-term, sophisticated, strategic approach to life as we know it. It can simply be, what's on your mind? And you will establish a connection, and it will start to enhance and raise the level of trust that 2 people have between each other.
Bingo, trust. And trust cannot be built by just periodic, quarterly, half-year evaluations. There's no trust when those kinds of things are happening. It becomes a grade. It becomes a progress report like you got as a kid, but you're not going to have, and it seems to be all one way. The manager, the leader is telling the person what they need to do better. And that's not how life works. You have to have trust. So yeah, that one-on-one builds a relationship, builds trust. So Jeff, from all your experience, what's the most valuable free tip you can give? And maybe you already gave it.
Well, I think it is. In my latest book, Brave Business Leadership, I think the most valuable chapter in there is coaching. If you're going to be an effective coach of others, you got to connect with them. You got to learn what it takes to be an effective coach. And it takes practice. I'm an executive coach now. Have I got it all figured out? No, sir, I do not. I'm still a work in progress. And I will tell you what I learned from the Army, and I'm sure you learned the same thing. As you progress in rank, you are always going back and getting taught. You're going back to school. So the thing I would tell you that build those one-on-one relationships and do it by reaching out to the people that you work for or who work for you.
Wonderful. That's the free tip today, people. Last couple questions, Jeff. How can people learn more about you, Jeff Foley, and your work? And do you have any like free resource that they could grab off the web or anything that you might want to give people?
Absolutely. My company is Laurel Mountain Solutions. The
Mm-hmm.
website is Laurel, Loral, mountain.com. Laurel is a name I chose. Lorraine was my mom. Albert was my dad. So
Lovely.
it's not a mountain range. It's not anything else. It's my mom and dad. And I use mountain for a number of other things. But that's the name of my company. On my site, you'll find my bio, of course. You'll find a number of articles that I've written that are on my blog. And a lot of it discusses exactly what I shared today and a whole bunch more. And it's all free. Download it, share it. I don't care what you do with it. But there's all kinds of valuable information that I've learned over time. I also have books, free chapters of the 2 books that I've authored.
That's awesome.
So you can download a free chapter. And if the book gets you excited, you can go to Amazon or Barnes & Noble or whatever and buy the book. To help reinforce all of that.
Okay. Thanks, Jeff, for that. Jeff, the last words are yours in this rapid fire interview.
The most profound thing that leaders must do is understand that they have an absolute obligation to develop their people. They can't delegate it. They can't abstain from it. It is there. They can't get rid of it. And so I challenge anyone listening to or watching our video today to figure it out. Be committed to developing yourself and understanding who you are and what you stand for, and then helping develop others. Discover the gifts that your people have where they can best contribute to the organization and their families and their communities.
Discover their gifts. Wow. Is that something that is probably not in the lexicon of most executives in this country? Discover the gifts of your people. And if a leader is looking for the gifts in their people are going to, I think, go, man, they see that I'm important. They see that I'm bringing something unique to the table, to this organization. They see that. So I'm going to trust them more. I'm going to have their back. I'm going to follow them. Trust, see their gifts is a beautiful thing, Jeff. And thank you very much. This time spent together was awesome. I really enjoyed our conversation. I'll get this webcast out to everybody I can, all the channels I have. And I wish you all continued success, Jeff, in what you're doing for businesses around the country and around the world. Thank you again, sir.
Thank you, Doug.
See you down the road.
All right, my friend.
Bye-bye. Hey, Doug Fine again. Thank you so much for watching and tuning in to this Defined Engagement webcast. I'm in Augusta, Georgia, but I can travel anywhere to help your company amp up its engagement and motivate leadership to be just more effective with their people. So don't hesitate to get in touch with me. I can be reached at www.dougjfine.com or email me at doug@dougjfine.com, and we'll have a conversation, and it could lead to a partnership. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Thank you. Take care.